about my testimony at the very beginning, one of the things that I left out was that when I went through all of that, when my husband left me, I did not just break. I had a complete nervous breakdown. And if you've never experienced something like that in your life, or depression, it is not an easy thing to go through. It is a hidden disease that you face, and it is very challenging. And I've always been a very strong-natured person, very type A. I can handle anything, but I could not handle that. But God broke me for a reason. And in that, He showed me so much. But as a challenge I've had to face since then is I experienced depression. And thank God for pills. Because He made a doctor who created some medicines to keep me balanced. Because when you are facing something like that, sometimes you need help from others too, even if it's a medication. So hopefully nobody's having experienced that. But back in the end of 2010, I was going through a very dark phase in my life. My upline was fabulous to me. They were all there helping me out, telling me, go get yourself some help, talk to somebody, because they saw the darkness that was in me. Anybody that was around otherwise never saw it, because we can all put on good smiley faces and keep moving, but the people closest to us know. Well, during that time frame, there were about 6 months that I didn't sponsor anybody. And I sponsored all the time. I always made Designer Circle. I always, sponsored a lot of jewelers. And I couldn't sponsor to save my life. It was because I had too much on my plate. And God knew that. I continued to share. I questioned everything about business. What am I doing wrong? Trying to rethink everything. But I continued to plant those seeds. And do you know, in the month of March 2011, I sponsored 5 jewelers and was the nation's top sponsor. And y'all, they did not just show up on my doorstep. All of those seeds that I had planted, when God felt like I could handle it, He brought them to me. It was nothing magnificent that I did. Although it was nice to have your name in lights for a minute, it's nothing magnificent that I did. It was that I planted and followed His lead and waited for His timing with it. Okay? So, what I want you to know is that there's nothing that you can do that God can't handle. Okay? God can handle everything for you. When my plate was clear, He took it all on for me, and He blessed everything. So before I go, I want to give you a few tips that are going to help you with your business, because although you plant those seeds, you want to water them so that they will come to harvest. So let me share a little bit about how I do things at my shows to draw people to me. Okay? First of all, I sprinkle the seeds at the show. I start with my introductions like I did here today, and I have them tell me what they would do with the money. First thing they're thinking is, okay, I could use that money. Next thing I do is talk about exciting things during the jewelry show, how fun it is to be my own boss, how nice it is to be there for my kids or get away for the night. And y'all, let me tell you one other way I keep from cancellations. I'll have girls call me and say, it is not going to be worth your time to drive out here. I've only got like one friend coming. You know what I tell them? I am coming. It is my night out. You are not canceling on me. I have got a sitter. I am on my way. I don't let them cancel. Okay? Just tell them like it is. You need to have a fun sponsoring activity that gets the ladies thinking, and then show them how the money can be made. It really doesn't matter which activity you have. Just make sure you're passionate about it and have it firm on how you do it. You want to share your own premier story so that people can relate to you. When I started this business, y'all, it was really about extra money for me. I just needed some extra money. My circumstances changed. I needed to make money so that I didn't lose my home, so I could feed our family. I became real passionate about what I was doing. And so today I stand in excitement about I don't have a full-time job. I make an income that a full-time job would have had, and I'm working, 2 shows a week. What is that, 8 hours a week? So we'll just say I work 10 hours a week, making a full-time income that took me 40 or 50 hours to do before. Isn't that something to be excited about? And today, we had something really exciting happen for us. My husband builds fences and decks. He's self-employed, works very, very hard. And he has this massive trailer that he carries behind his truck. And y'all, if we don't have a trailer, we don't have a business, because he's got to carry everything with him. Well, his trailer broke, and I said, well, we're just going to have to figure that out, because the liability of that thing breaking and going down 85 and without you, we can't afford that. So I said, just go get you a trailer. Do you know what? Not too long ago, it was all we could do to make ends meet. Today, Premier paid for that cash. I'm so excited because, y'all, it took a long time for that to happen, and Premier is the way it happened. I was able to say, honey, my Premier check's going to cover that. I'm so excited. and it will happen for you too if you keep doing it. Follow your activity with, your sponsoring activity with a closer. 6 minutes to win it is a great closer. If you don't know that, this is what it is. I give the people the little tickets. Anybody that takes a ticket during my show walks away for 5 minutes right after, and I give them the highlights of Premier. I read through it. And the greatest thing about this, it gives the money right then and there. That's the biggest hurdle for us. And if they already know that this is how much money it's going to cost, you get them to put on here what they think on their scale of 1 to 10. And if they're a 7, you know you're going to have a better time with that 7 than if somebody hears this and puts a 3. You don't need to meet with that person. Thank you. I would love for you to be my referral. Okay? So this is a great closer to get a feel for what people are really thinking at your show and to know how to spend your time wisely to follow up afterwards. I also use curiosity packets. You need to be able to give somebody something at your show so that they have something to go away with. I use the little mini brochure, and Gail's calling to win. Love it. Thank you. But the key is if you're going to give this out, make sure you follow up with them to make sure that they've listened to the call and see what they have heard and liked. And on the back of it, I put my last 10 shows. This is something that I'm giving to everybody now. I used to just give it to my people that were really thinking about it. But I'm starting to just give it to everybody. You know, if you don't want to do bags, just give it to them as their receipt. You know, put it in the little sleeve of the mini. You want to also give them a closing your show sheet. This is so important because this is right there in front of your hostess. Your hostess needs to know how much you just made while she's hanging around eating brownies with you, okay, from her friends. Does everybody use this sheet? This is real important. At the end of my show, I calculate it so she knows how much jewelry she's got, but down here at the bottom says, this is how much I made. So I will sit there with her and say, I just wanted to let you know if this had been you tonight, this is what you would have made with your friends. And she's like, I need to do this. Okay, so it's planting another seed. You also want to set up OPs just like you do a show. At each show, you should look for at least one person that you can share the opportunity with because the odds are 1 in 5 of those people will come into Premier. So if you hold 5 shows in a month, you should have a new jeweler. You also need to share with every hostess. She's a prospect right in front of you. You can share with her before the show and offer her an extra bonus for letting her hear about it if you want to do that. You also want to follow up with your prospects within 24 to 48 hours to see if they have any questions for you and create a follow-up plan based on what she says. I use my calendar for this too. If I talk to her and she says, call me back in a week, I go straight to that date and write that I need to call her. If she says, call me in 3 months, I go to 3 months away. So I don't have to think about her anymore. I do use Houghton House, so I take notes in there as well so I can kind of keep up with her. And if you don't have that, just write it on her survey or some other sheet that you keep up with. The other thing that I do is I keep my prospects in a database. At the very beginning of my business, I didn't have that many people to deal with. Having shared with hundreds now, I can't possibly keep up with all these people and call them on a regular basis and things like that. So what I do, using Houghton House, before I had Houghton House, I would use my email, is I send emails, okay? Every single month, I have an opportunity presentation in my home before our training, and I will send every person that has ever said maybe to me, or if I've shared with, an invitation to come to our opportunity. And it says, no, this is not an invitation to a show. Because they open it up and say, oh, I can't make it, y'all have fun tonight. Hello? It's not a show invitation. So you just have to make funny things, but it tells them, please come. It shows your money again, and then it makes them think. And y'all, I have had people not talk to me forever. I just had a new jeweler come on board. I had not talked to her in 6 months. She responded to this, I'm ready to sign up. Not talked to her in 6 months, okay? But you'll have people for years that you're sending that stuff, and as long as they don't say, take me off your list, keep on sending. And then quarterly, I also send something to my people that I've actually shared Premier with. So what I'll do is tell them a little bit about what's going on in my life, how Premier has blessed me, how I know it could help them, and how I would love to talk to them again if they are still interested. Has my money in it too, and has an opportunity to talk to them. Every time you do that, I just send that to anybody that's actually heard the plan from me. Doing these things keeps it in front of their face at all times, because when you've shared with enough people, you can only make so many phone calls, and you need to spend those phone calls on people that are hot leads. And this right here will take care of everybody else until you can get to that phone call with them too. Okay? So it does the work until you can get to them. All right? So